we have to put anything, if we say anything is a big theme, it's AI. I've been around for a while talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence and in the world of cybersecurity. But really, when I look at it, we bucket it in two big buckets. The first is, how is AI being used by cybersecurity vendors and innovators? So the idea being, can we anticipate bad things happening? And then does it help us to react, detect, and respond faster, more efficiently? Can we be in front of the bad guys by having that better intelligence and those algorithms that are taking in massive amounts of data that then give us an indication of where we should go spend our time to help us be more secure? Now, of course, the opposite side of that is that you got the black hat hackers that are doing the exact same thing, using AI tools to be able to go out and try to go against target against their targets to try to see more nefarious means to try to hack into systems. So it's a little bit of a balance there from both of those sides. The other big piece that I see is vendors talking about, how do we secure AI? So think about the ideas around the pieces of AI that happen. So one, we have data that we know that we're mining to get better information. Two is there are algorithms and processes that take that data and do things with them. So both of those elements, one, data integrity. If anything bad goes on with that data, I may not get results that I want. And the other thing is the process of managing that through the algorithms. Is there anything that can disrupt? Is there anything that can throw it off? Again, to start making so that the end result is not reliable. And that's a big thing I think any of us think about with AI, is that the results have to be trustworthy. And if the whole process is not trusted, then the end results aren't going to be trusted. So what's your take on AI, James?
Yeah, it's a lot to digest there. But you're right. I think that it comes down to the quality of the data. At the end of the day, AI is really just a framework of really intelligent people building something on top of a huge data set and then trying to extrapolate intent in the case of the remediation or detection. That's them trying to extrapolate intent from a data set, or in other cases, it's how do we make decisions about where we should invest or how we should change settings in our network based on recommendations from products that are actually using AI at the back end, right? But for me, all of that comes back to the same problem, which is the quality of the data that you're feeding into the platform. If you don't start from a good place with your data, the end result, like you said, can't be trusted.
Right.
And in worst cases, not only could it not be trusted, but it could actually cause problems on your network if you're doing something where you think or assume the outcome that's produced from these tools is legitimate or useful, right? And so what we're seeing is especially in the cybersecurity space right now, virtually everybody's trying to get into the AI game. I mean, it's like the buzzword, it's everyone's doing it. You have to have some form of AI in your product because that's what people keep asking about.
Yeah.
But what I think people are missing are kind of two big things. We've talked about the data set already, and that's one of them. But the second thing is, it's such a complex and nebulous problem that most organizations just say, well, we have AI, we check that box, we're using it, but they don't know what that means. They don't actually understand how that affects the tool specifically, and then what that means in the larger context of their cybersecurity ecosystem or their process and tooling, things that they use for kind of day-to-day or ongoing maintenance. So for us, it's let's all kind of take a pause, step back and say, let's analyze what the vendor is actually saying when they say they have AI. What does it mean? Let's dig deeper, right? How are they using the AI? Right? What are the models that they're using? What's the impact to the product? And then what would that impact be to our business? But two, let's really, I think more than that, analyze the data set that's getting fed into it, because that is everything. If you have clean data, your outcomes are more reliable. If you have incomplete or inaccurate data, your outcomes are potentially hazardous. And so one of the big areas for us, and something I think that's a superpower for Phosphorus, not to toot our own horn too much, but is the value, and this is something we talked about with the integrations to other third parties, is the data that we're starting from has so much value because we get to talk to the device directly. We actually get to extract that data directly from the device. And for us, when you start talking about how AI can use our data or how we can integrate or interact with tools that are using AI, it's such a hard problem to solve in the IoT space that if a company's coming to you and trying to sell you and say, oh yeah, we're IoT detection and response, we're powered by AI, that should be a huge red flag,
Right.
because that data is incomplete. And for us, it's the IoT world. It's like, imagine trying to train a language model when there's 4,000 different languages. We can barely train a language model on one, let alone 4,000, right? So in the world of IoT, it's so much more of a complex problem
Right.
that when I hear an IoT vendor trying to use AI like in that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
it worries me.